I love soup, and usually when I do soup, I do a bunch of it because I can freeze it and reheat it when I need it. In that case here, I'm going to start with a couple of tablespoons of oil. I have a good cup and a half of onion here, diced. You know the proportion here. This is a coarse type of soup, so it doesn't really matter. The quantity also could be a little more of this, a little less of that. Use what you have in your refrigerator and in your freezer. So here I have like a cup and a half, 2 cups at the most of onion. We'll saute in there. Okay, for a couple of minutes. And lick. Of course, I always use lick in my soup. I have a nice lick here. This is a bit tougher on the outside, but that's about not more than that I would remove. And then cut it, always cut it in half like this, because this is when you have to wash it. As you can see the dirt here, so you rinse it under water. So here is my lick. And again, relatively coarse like this. Yeah, I have about 2 cups of lick here, 1 lick. So we start by sauteing this for a couple of minutes with the garlic, and this I'm going to very coarsely chop it. All right. Here we are in there. Yeah, cook 2-3 minutes here, and then I add 7 cups of chicken stock here, and kale. This is a kale soup. So here I have about 8-9 cups of kale, and this is about half a pound. Again, if you have a little more, a little less, whatever, you can use collard green. Even lettuce, sometimes I have lettuce left over, I use them in soup. So I want to bring that to a boil now, before doing more. Okay, so that comes to a strong boil. Now I want to thicken it with a little bit of a polenta, and what I do usually, I just mix that with a cup of cold water or cold stock, because usually otherwise when you put it in there, very often it forms big lump. So here you dilute it like this. Okay, and that now, that polenta has to come to a boil and cook for about 15-20 minutes. Okay, well, whoop, my soup has been cooking here for 20 minutes. Beautiful. So now it's time for me to add a can of tomato, a can of garbanzo beans, and I put the juice with it, Already rinse it with a bit of water. Okay, and then I have like 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Remember, my stock was not salted. And about a teaspoon of pepper. So here I'll have about 8-10 cups of soup. So it has to come back to a boil now. It boils maybe a minute or so, and that's it. I think my soup is cooked now. Beautiful soup. I love soup. And look at that. I mean, this is a whole meal in itself, So I will freeze it this way, I made a mess on my plate. I always put a bit of herb on top if I have around and so forth. But there, I would divide it now in container, freeze it, and it's always welcome at my house. Happy cooking.